optimistic that we're a leadoff guy away from getting on and getting something rolling, and we've scored so late in so many games, and we have to be the greatest eighth inning scoring team in college baseball history. I mean, I swear we scored in the eighth inning of every game this year, and so there was always that belief. We just couldn't string it together, and when you're chasing runs like that, whether it's down 8 or down whatever, you have to play for a big inning, which really limits the creativity that you can do. And not that we were ever incredibly creative with stealing and hitting and running, but we just couldn't get into a groove. I certainly felt like we were always one inning away, but they just did a really good job of executing, and we just couldn't get it rolling.
What were you guys evaluating during both delays yesterday, and why was the decision made to suspend it, and do you think it had an effect on the game at all in terms of the final score?
Like, what were we evaluating in terms of moves that we would make?
No, just like in terms of why you would go with the delay, why you guys came back the first time, and then
Yeah, it's complicated, Jordan. I think it's the NCAA, it's ESPN, it's certainly the opinion of they get the opinion of the coaching staff, and I think I've been in multiple of these, and the coaches are always on the same page. You just want to do the best thing for your starting pitchers, so you don't have to get them up and down. You don't want to start a game and be 20 minutes in and have to shut it down. So the input that we as coaches, Coach Johnson, myself, would give would just be like, what's the window we have to play? And all signs pointed to a window after 7:30. Now, obviously, that didn't work out, but it's a tough job. Our site admin was great. Kirk Mason, he's a veteran that's been doing this for 30 some years and working with the National Weather Service and ESPN. So it's a lot, and just weather in the Midwest in June.
Did it just get too late last night to continue to play?
Yeah, and the Lightning kept setting it back. So I think we were all clear at, I want to say 10:20, and then we had another hit at and that's when they banged it, and it was smart because there was another hit at 11:07, and then subsequent ones, and it was raining at my house at 2 in the morning, so I think they made the right call.
Jacob Webb, University of Daily Canada. Coach, I know we've asked you a lot about Tyson LeBlanc over the past few weeks, but you said last week he's going to play baseball for a long time. Can you just reflect on the year he had?
Yeah, he's really special, and as a baseball guy, it was really special to be a part of watching him in his ascent. He got better every day. I 100% knew he was going to hit a home run in that last at bat because of just the way he tracks pitches and the way he sees it and the way he works at it. So, he's so fun to coach and such a great competitor. And mentally, he's on a different level mentally from his peers in terms of how he goes about his work, how serious he is. That's not coach speak, talking about if we have one out left. That is exactly who he is, and everywhere he's been, he's won, and he's going to continue to do that.
Fitz, you just heard Bodie say it was kind of a reset opportunity. Was that a message that they took themselves? Did you guys preach that as a staff to them last night when you had that opportunity, knowing you were going to come back today?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of preaching that goes on in June. And we've been through. We sat through 5.5 hours at K-State and had to come back and play 4 to finish out a game. And so we've been through it a bunch. So I think they knew there wasn't a whole lot I had to say. I think they knew it was a reset. But yeah, there was a quick message at the beginning of it and then after, and just to try to get it back on track. And 8-1 is doable. And but yeah.
Time for a couple more.
Yeah, and just your perspective out there in right field with the hugs and are you taking all that in? Is that emotional for the head coach that brought all these guys together, and what was that like? What did you see from those guys too, of them soaking it up?
Yeah, that's what I watching them celebrate and celebrate's the wrong word, but celebrate the friendships and the time spent, and I think the fact that they care about each other the way they do is really special. So yeah, I've got months of processing now and figuring out next steps, and so there's the administrative hat and the coaching hat that's still on. But yeah, there's a human element to not wanting to say goodbye to a lot of those guys.
Jack Ritter, 24/7 Sports. Dom touched on how much this team, the culture, the program has changed over the years. Can you touch on how he's changed, not just as a pitcher, but as a man, as a teammate over the last few years?
Yeah, Dom's. It's a trick question because Dom hasn't changed one bit from the first time I met him. He's as consistent a human being as I've ever met. He's grown a lot, and just as a human being and how he works and how he goes about it, and he's a big reason why when he says that the culture and the team chemistry and all that stuff is special this year. He's a big reason why, because we had very few returners back, and those guys were huge in bridging that.
And then you mentioned it a moment ago, but what is the next step for this program as you enter the offseason?
Well, we've come a long way in a short amount of time. I think back to 4 years ago, and first it's almost 4 years on the dot, and I don't think I would have said we're going to win the Big 12 regular season, win the conference tournament, host a regional, win the toughest regional in the NCAA tournament, and then host a super. That would have been not something that I would have predicted would happen in 4 years. So we've come through a lot of hard work and incredible support from our administration and my assistants, and then obviously the players are the ones who have done it. So the next step is sustainability, just like last year, the step of sustainability to be in the NCAA tournament. And so I think that the hard part about this is that the carrot is always there. So I was devastated at DMAC in 2011. I thought we could win a national championship, and I was at home watching the semifinal that we should have been playing, and then Kelly said, "What are you doing, just torturing yourself?" I said, well, kind of. I said, "We should be playing." And she said, I just shouldn't talk about my family. I wrote this thing, but she said, if you win that, then the next step is you got to repeat, and then you got to win 3 in a row. And so the carrot for me is it's a lot bigger than baseball, and it's the time, it's the experience and the journey, and this was a wild one, and one I'm incredibly grateful for, and so you just don't want it to end, because I know that you don't win a national championship and then everything's fixed. Like, to me, it's the journey. It's watching guys like this grow up, and it's watching guys grow in their faith, and it's all those things. So, no, I got off track there, and I brought up my family, so that's no one else's fault here. I did that, but yeah, we got to continue to build, and we'll continue to do that.
All right, thank you, Coach.